Ain't that a sight?
Best friends and mountaineering partners, Jim Davidson and Mike Price, are fulfilling a dream. To climb Mount Rainier, one of the highest mountains in the US.
It's gonna be a crazy, mad day. You ready?
Let's do it, Jim.
Let's do it, bro.
The two men have been climbing together for 4 years.
I first met Mike in 1986. We were both going to Colorado State University. We had a like mind and a similar love for the mountains.
As Jim and Mike have scaled mountains all over the US, their friendship has grown deeper.
Mike had a great deal of mountaineering experience. I looked up to him as a better climber than I, more experienced.
But Mount Rainier will put their climbing partnership to the ultimate test. As they plan to scale the fearsome Liberty Ridge.
I think what excited both of us was it was going to be a step up in our friendship and our partnership.
On the third morning of their trek, they're ready for the final leg of their trip, up to the 14,000-foot summit.
Climbing fosters very intense relationships. We experience the difficulties, we experience the rewards, and you're sharing it with one person who you like and whom you trust a great deal.
For Jim, this is his toughest climbing challenge yet. But being attached to his far more experienced friend Mike means he's in safe hands.
You okay, Jim?
Oh, man. This is tough.
Just check your balance a little.
I would look at the climb and go, wow, I don't know if I can do this. It looks a little steep, a little scary.
I can't do it, bro.
Just come over a little.
And Mike would gently push me forward.
You're doing good.
I thought, well, if Mike thinks I can do it, then I probably can.
Mike's expert leadership means that their final push to the summit goes without a hitch.
Woo! Just as I pulled myself onto the ice cap, Mike was sitting down with a big grin on it.
Welcome to Liberty Cap.
Their reward is spectacular views on a perfect day.
It can be a very spiritual experience where you're up there and you actually feel connected to the earth and to something even bigger. And to have those magical moments in the mountain, you have to put forth the work and you have to be willing to accept some risk.
For Jim and Mike, making it to the top is the ultimate high. Having realized their dream, they're now ready to get home to their families. But first, they face a tricky decision.
The most standard descent routes are on the south side at Disappointment Cleaver. That would have worked fine for getting down, but would put us on the opposite side of the mountain from where our car was.
So they decide instead that it will be much quicker to take the shorter northeast route down. It's a straightforward 8-hour trek back to base.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
I don't want you thinking about a nice, cool beer.
Hey, lay off.
But Jim and Mike are also aware that they must stay alert. They know that hidden just under the snow, the landscape is a minefield of cracks and gullies, the worst of which are huge crevasses.
All of the glaciers on Rainier have crevasses, these big cracks in the ice. Sometimes they're open and you can see them, and sometimes they're hidden over with snow.
And as the hours pass, the risk of crevasses increases.
The sun softens the snow, weakens the ice. That can make the route itself more likely to collapse.
But Jim knows that being attached to his friend by a rope means that if he does fall, Mike will dig in and use his body weight to save him.
They're literally holding your life in their hands.
All right. It's a little deeper here, okay?
And that creates a very intense bond and a very intense friendship.
But an hour into their descent, they realize that the route they've chosen catches the full heat of the sun.
As we descended down, we started getting hot very quickly. And we could feel the sun beating down on us.
As the temperature rises, the surface snow is now weakening all around them. Fast.
Okay.
Our boots would sink in deeper and our ice axes would sink in deeper.
Jim and Mike are now only inching forward.
Baby steps, Jim. Will do.
In these conditions, one false step could be deadly.
Just take it easy, Jim.
And all of a sudden, I sensed something. Below me, the ground just dropped off.
We got a big crevasse here, buddy. We're not going this way. Okay, Jim, take it easy. Let's try going left a little, okay?
It's been a close call, and Jim now realizes that real danger is lurking all around them.
I probed the ground in front of me, and it felt solid.
Take it easy now, Jim. Yeah, we're good.
And I stepped forward and sank up to my ankle in the snow.
Whoa!
And I probed a second step. And my ice axe felt solid, so I stepped forward.
No, we're good.
My face smashed up against the snow. And I realized I wasn't going to be able to stop myself. I yelled, "Falling!" I swung my arms and legs around in the darkness. And I realized this is a big crevasse.
If Mike can't get a grip in the slushy snow, then nothing can stop them both plunging to their deaths.
It seemed to progress very slowly. I had time to think about what was happening and what might happen and how we were going to land. It was just absolute sheer terror. I was tied to Mike, so I thought in another second or so the rope will get tight and catch me.
As Jim speeds downwards, he knows Mike only has a few feet left to dig in and break his fall.
I thought 10 feet, 20 feet, 40 feet. Mike should have caught me by now. And I put my hand out, and I could hear how fast I was moving by the high, screaming pitch of the nylon glove dragging on the wall in the darkness. And when I swished around, it felt kind of empty, and I realized that my wrist loop had slipped off my hand. My ice axe gone now. There's no way I can stop myself. Then my brain told me that I'd fallen 50 feet. I thought, no, that can't be right. If I'm in 50 feet, and there's 50 feet of rope between me and Mike, that means he's right at the lip of the crevasse. And I'm going so fast now, he's gonna have a heck of a time catching me. And I thought, come on, Mike, dig in, dig in. Because I knew that he was getting close to the edge. felt the rope jerk once and then go slack. And at first I was confused. I didn't know what that meant. It was a sense of helplessness and sort of a soft sense of sadness, like, well, now there's literally nothing we can do.
The violence of Jim and Mike's 80-foot fall has triggered something every climber dreads. An avalanche. As the walls are now leaning in too far towards him, he knows there's only one option. He must switch to a different climbing technique. Aid climbing.
Aid climbing on ice screws is rarely, if ever, done. And I had never done it. I never met anybody that had done it.
Aid climbing involves hanging loops of rope from a wall screw and using them as footholds. Jim knows the theory of it, but it's a world away from actually doing it.
It's brutally physically demanding.
He's already exhausted and faces scaling 60 feet and an overhang with this untried method. Worse still, he hasn't got the right gear. He must improvise with just a few lengths of nylon and 5 ice screws.
Very awkward, very pathetic substitute, but it's all I had.
If Jim is to make it out alive, he must now use everything that Mike has ever taught him.
I was now climbing like ice steeper than I ever had in my life.
Without Mike to help him, Jim has to constantly climb back down to retrieve his ice screws, costing him precious time and energy. After hours of grueling climbing, Jim is within touching distance of his last great obstacle, the overhang. If he can get past it, he'll have only 20 feet left to climb. But he's beginning to realize that he may be on his last reserves of energy.
I was physically winding down, and I could see myself moving slower and slower. At this point, I think my body was kind of grinding to a halt.
Jim's loneliness, exhaustion, and despair are finally too much for him.
I was starting to feel so beat up physically and psychologically, I wasn't sure that I was going to last long enough. I had absolutely no strength out there.
Jim has lost a mountaineer's most powerful tool, his self-belief.
And I started thinking about Mike. And his parents at home. And how all I could do was get out of here and let them know what happened to him. Even though no one would have known if I just gave in to the cold and sleep, that wouldn't be honoring the people that had helped me and what they had taught me. Mike teaching me to always give your best for the partnership. You don't give up just because it's hard. You stick with it.
Jim knows he must find the strength for one final push to the top.
If I made it out and collapsed there and died there, that would be a success, because they'd find me and follow the rope back to Mike. And so we'd both be found, both get off the mountain. And I watched the spit drool down a little bit, and the blood froze in place on the wall. And I realized that was actually kind of a marker, marking how far I'd progressed up the wall. It was a psychological game to prove to myself that even though it was painfully slow and horribly scary, that I was making progress.
After 65 feet and hours of hell, Jim's made it to the overhang. It's the only thing standing between him and the lip of the crevasse.
I knew I was close.
But to get past it and get out alive, he must risk everything.
Now I had a severe problem. I couldn't reach past the lip.
I can't do it, bro.
Just come over a little.
And I thought, I have to do it. I've got no choice.
Jim's only option is to try to haul himself over the edge of the overhang. If he makes one single mistake, he'll fall to his death.
I thought, I've made it. I've secured myself to the upper screw. And I took my ice axe off the lower screw so that I could hang onto it. I realized I had just made a huge error.
Jim has broken a climber's golden rule. He's attached himself to his chest instead of his waist.
The chest harness cinched down around my chest and squeezed the breath out of me. And some voice in my head was just screaming at me, saying, "It's all over. You're gonna die hanging from this ice screw." I was gasping for breaths. I would get one occasionally when I would get one ice tool in the wall. I could get a little weight off and I would get 2 breaths, and then I would slip and slump back onto the sling and it would squeeze me tight again. I had to get off that ice screw.
Unless he can find one last surge of energy, Jim knows he has just seconds left to live.
And when I looked back down at our ledge, some 60 feet below me now, I realized that I was really out there on the extreme edge of what I thought climbing could even be.
Finally, having achieved what seemed impossible just a matter of hours ago, Jim knows he has only 20 feet to the top and escape.
But I was so utterly exhausted from everything I'd done, I questioned if I was going to be able to have the strength to make that final run to the surface.
But the last few minutes of daylight are disappearing fast. With temperatures inside the crevasse now dropping dramatically, Jim is desperate to end his ordeal as quickly as possible.
I thought, wow, if I can free climb, I can free climb 15 or 20 feet in just a minute. I'll be out of here in just 1 minute. And I started to get very energized by it, very attracted to the idea that with just 1 minute of energy, 1 minute of effort, I would be out. I heard Mike's voice just clear as a bell, and he was like, don't. He said, you're not strong enough, you might slip, and if you slip and fall, it'll be all over. You can't take that risk.
He knows that Mike's words could be the difference between life and death. No matter how hard and time-consuming, Jim should carry on aid climbing.
I couldn't hold the ice axe up anymore. That 1 or 2 pound ice axe became too much for me to bear. And I was truly getting down to the end of my energies.
After more than 5 hours and 80 grueling feet, Jim reaches the surface. But unless he can get a firm grip on the treacherously thin snow, he could easily slide back into the crevasse.
I can't believe at the very last second I'm going to fall backwards, all the way back down to where I came from. I can't believe it's going to end like this. And this emotional voice in my mind was like screaming, do something. And this voice was pretty confident, said, just lunge. I looked back where I had last seen Mike just before the fall, and I could see where he was standing, and there was a very sharp groove in the snow that proved to me that Mike had dug in as hard as he could to catch my fall. And then I untied from the rope.
By finally untying the rope that connects him to Mike, Jim knows that he has fulfilled his duty to his best friend. And Mike's family will be able to take his body home.
All that emotion that had been trapped down inside me for over 5 hours just gushed out. And I just said out loud once, I'm alive.
Hello!
Jim's cries for help are finally heard by 2 park rangers and some volunteers.
That's when I knew that I had been seen.
I'm up here!
And that help was on its way.
Mike Price's body was recovered the following day. And, thanks to him, Jim survived with only minor injuries. But before returning home to his wife, he had one last thing he had to do.
The last day when Mike and I were climbing together, we talked about coming off the mountain, maybe having a big steak and buying a couple beers. So I went into the bar. And I ordered 2 beers. One for me, one for Mike.
Thanks.
And I sat there and drank them both.
Since the accident, Jim's never lost his love of the mountains. He now teaches new climbers to respect the power of nature. And each year, on June the 21st, Jim makes a special climb to celebrate the life and times he and his friend spent in the mountains.
Hey, honey, do you want to grab these?
Sure.
The Silverwood family, from San Diego, California, is on a round-the-world sailing trip.
These. Hey, Amelia, honey, will you come here and grab this?
For Dad, John, the voyage is the fulfillment of a lifelong dream.
John had always talked to me about going and doing this sailing thing. You know, he said, "Oh, let's just go buy this boat and go, you know, put the kids on board and go sailing around the world."
There's a lot of different reasons why we went on this voyage. Probably most important to me was that my kids experienced firsthand at a young and an impressionable enough age just the absolute freedom of being out on the ocean.
Hey, Ben, you want to give your mom a hand?
Okay.
The family has already sailed 20,000 miles.
You all set?
They're now on the last leg of their journey, leaving the South Pacific island of Raiatea and heading for Australia, 3,500 miles away.
Australia, we were going to sell the boat and go back home and put the kids back to school and go back to work.
Okay, guys, come on, let's go.
The family has spent the last 21 months on John's pride and joy, an 80-foot catamaran, the Emerald Jane, bought from his 20 years of hard work in the construction industry.
Emerald Jane, she was just incredible. A great combination, you know, beauty, power, seaworthiness, strength. Her mast, 80 feet tall. I loved every inch of her.
For John's 3 youngest children, Camille and Amelia, and their brother Jack, the trip has been an unforgettable experience. The Emerald Jane has become their family home, as well as their very own school at sea.
We had all the accoutrements of life that we would need, including probably 300 pounds of school books.
But not everyone on board has enjoyed the trip.
Ben.
What? You want to come over here and take over? I have to.
John's teenage son, Ben, has found it hard going.
I wanted to go home really badly because I just missed all my friends. And I was still in contact with a lot of my friends via email. So I tell them about stuff, and I really missed them.
6 months ago, Ben discovered that his dad had extended their trip.
When I found out about that, I was pretty angry. I kicked down the door, punched a little hole in the wall, and basically threw a pretty sizable fit.
But today, any grumbles have been left behind. They're out on the ocean and heading home.
Amelia and Camille are both playing out on the deck. Jean's busy reading a book. They're at sea, and maybe a little bit grudgingly, but they're happy.
Hello. Is everybody hungry?
The Silverwood family while away a lazy afternoon at sea.
No, he did. Was it?
There's a clanking sound up at the mast. Something that had never happened to us before.
You see anything?
Shackle.
Where?
Sluice.
And the boom was now smashing into the mast repeatedly. And we wrestled with that problem for probably 2 hours.
But John and Ben can't fix the sail.
Yeah, I think we leave it for the night, Ben.
I say, look, we'll fix this thing in daylight. We have to drop the mainsail down. And we continue on like that.
As dusk falls, John sets the boat's navigation system to avoid one of the many tiny islands that dot the Pacific Ocean. And the Emerald Jane heads into the sunset.
It's glorious. It's glorious. I'm just like at one with the universe.
You guys all set for dinner?
Yeah, Mom.
Yeah?
Below deck, the family relaxes, while Ben keeps watch in the cockpit.
1 more minute, and that's it. Okay?
John takes a rest, and the 3 younger children get ready for their evening meal. It's another night at sea, just like the hundreds they've spent together during their voyage.
I start to hear this scraping sound. It's very light. And I just think in my head, well, maybe it's a floating coconut palm or something we've just hit.
Go back to your picture, honey. It's great.
There's this sharp bang sound.
Then it starts to get louder and louder.
I run into the salon. Like chalk on a board on steroids, man. It's just ripping our ears apart. And my son's voice coming from the cockpit, one word. Reef! Reef! He's screaming, Reef.
We looked at each other in horror.
And in that same second, I hear this big boom.
I just got thrown a good 5-10 feet.
The Emerald Jane has smashed into a submerged coral reef. John slams the boat's engines into reverse. The boat grinds to a halt on the reef. But their ordeal has only just begun.
This giant wave hits the boat.
The ocean has punched its way through the hull of the boat.
The water just comes shooting through, exploding. I feel like I'm in a scene from Titanic. I just looked at John's eyes, and you can tell he's scared. He's really, really frightened. He doesn't know what to do, and I don't know what to do.
The whole dream of my life was all disintegrating right in front of my eyes. And they're screaming, I don't want to die, I don't want to die.
In just a matter of seconds, the Silverwood's idyllic sailing trip has turned into a living hell. The Emerald Jane is being ground into a reef in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and is being battered by violent waves.
I know that we're in a world, just a world of hurt.
Seawater is engulfing the vessel, and the cabin is slowly flooding.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
This is the sailing vessel Emerald Jane. We're at latitude and longitude. I can hear French voices, just like static in the universe. But I can't get through.
The boat's satellite phone should work anywhere on Earth. It's a direct line to call for rescue.
And my hands are shaking so hard. I drop the phone, so the phone just dies.
John now activates the boat's rescue beacon. It's their last resort, transmitting an emergency distress signal to international rescue services.
And I see that little red light blinking, and I think, is that signal actually really going way up into space? And is there anybody to hear it?
Our radio wasn't working, our satellite phone didn't work anymore. We didn't know if the emergency beacon was working. We had almost no way of communicating with anybody that we were there.
With the Emerald Jane being smashed on the reef, John believes they must abandon ship.
And I look at Ben and I tell him, Ben, we've got to launch the life raft. We pull the line that inflates this life raft. You never think that you're going to do it. But in the next second, you absolutely want to hear the sound of that compressed air filling that life raft.
But just as Ben and John are about to launch the life raft,
all the lights on board Emerald Jane, every single light goes out.
seawater has flooded the boat's batteries and cut the electricity supply.
You couldn't see anything in any direction. There was no lights. I look out, it's just pitch black. I knew we were pretty much screwed right there.
Just as it seems things can get no worse, yet another ocean swell crashes over the reef and unleashes its full fury on the stricken boat.
One of these big waves breaks directly over the middle of the boat. Dad! I'm flat on my back. And I look down and what I see is just impossible. That mast, that 80-foot mast is laying right across my legs.
The huge force of the wave has snapped the Emerald Jane's mast,
This huge surge of electric pain just barrages it explodes in my brain.
I heard my dad scream.
The falling mast has also hit Ben, striking him on the head.
My head was just pounding, like my ears were ringing, and I could feel like, you know when you can feel your heartbeat in your head?
And the next thing I know, there's Ben's face, you know? He's got blood coming down both sides of his face, and he's looking down at me. And I pull myself up and doing a sit-up. I'm confronted with these two white bones, the remains of my lower leg, and they're shattered.
You can see the bones sticking out like toothpicks almost out of the side.
The mast has almost completely severed John's leg below the knee.
And beneath that, there's just this pool of blood that's spreading on the deck.
Ben tries to free his father from under the 2,500-pound mast.
This thing is 80 feet long. It's impossible.
And I couldn't like just pull it out.
He's losing huge amounts of blood from his shattered leg. And Ben knows that unless he can find a way to stem the flow, his dad has only minutes to live.
He was in a huge amount of trouble.
Dad!
I said, Ben, my leg's broken. I'm trapped. You're in charge of the boat now. You've got to take care of the family. I watched his eyes. I could watch his expression and how it changed. Becoming a man. I could see that come over his face. And he just looks at me and he says,
Dad!
Dad, I'm gonna get you out of here.
I really didn't think about what the actual burden was on me or the responsibility. My reaction was just to keep doing stuff.
Ben knows his dad is losing massive amounts of blood, and he has no time to spare. He has to stem the flow, or his dad will die.
Within minutes, there's my son.
It's gonna hurt!
And he's got an idea. He takes that line and he wraps it around my thigh. And he's got these big screwdrivers.
I wrapped it around as many times as I possibly could and then linked it together.
Ben's tourniquet cuts the circulation to his dad's leg.
Without that effort, I probably would have died within 10 minutes.
Below deck, the cabin is flooding fast. Jean has to get the kids out and leads them up into the cockpit. Now the only safe haven on the boat. It's only now that she sees for the first time her husband's terrible condition.
He's in horrible, horrible pain. I said, I'm gonna go down below and get the first aid kit.
No, Mom!
The medical kit could help save his father's life. But Ben knows that if he lets his mum go below deck, she'll be walking into a death trap.
She was kind of just pleading with me. She could go get the medicine. It'll only be a second. She knows exactly where it is. I told her it's just stupid to go down there. You get, if not killed, hurt really badly. My mom's 5'5", I'm 6'1", so I was able just to hold her back.
As he was forcing me to stay there, this massive, massive wave came over the boat. Blew out the front windows that surrounded the main salon where I was going. I would have been killed instantly if I was there. So he saved my life.
I understand completely what's going on. I was not concerned about myself. If there was no way to get me in, well, that was that.
Now, as head of the family, Ben is faced with getting the 3 young children off the boat and across the reef to the tiny outcrop of dry rock.
As soon as the wave broke and started to recede, that's when I jumped off the boat. The reef is so sharp, the little coral spikes would go right through my sandals. I had coral cutting my feet every time I took a step.
They're cutting up their legs every which way.
We have the waves breaking on our legs, and our legs are getting absolutely cut up. At that point, I gave my brother the little emergency beacon.
Hold this, keep tight, yeah.
I told him, Jack, do not let go of this. This is our only way anyone can possibly find us.
You've got to get off the boat now, too. You've got to get off the boat.
Alone on the boat, John is now in the final stages of life. And he begins to give up.
There was no possibility of saving me out there. And I don't have any hopes whatsoever of being rescued. This little piece of boat that I'm on is going to just slide off the edge of the reef, and I'm going to sink a mile down to the bottom of the ocean.
But the thought of watching John die alone on the boat haunts Ben and his mum.
If we don't get him off the boat, he doesn't have a chance. He doesn't have a chance. I have to get him off the boat.
Ben decides to head back to the boat. But the life raft is hopelessly tangled in a web of rope. Jean pulls at the life raft for over an hour.
Every bit of my mind, every bit of muscle I have, I'm grunting, I'm practically drowning out there. After about 40 minutes, I was completely exhausted. I couldn't do it.
Jean launches into a frenzy, a crazed frenzy, trying to push this raft out.
But just as it seems it will never be freed,
The life raft just comes popping out.
She just yelled at me like, I got it, I got it. We have the waves breaking on our legs and pushing us into the boat, and our legs are getting just absolutely cut up. I had to use all my strength to just lift his upper body and slide that in.
And the pain was intense. It was just a series of explosions, you know? I remember the tears that were just streamed down the side of my eyes. And my teeth, they're just grit. My son was the ray of hope, the ray of light, the steady hand.
My worries were the life raft would pop some point on the reef, like before we were able to get him to safety.
Every one of those steps, there's just these explosions of pain. It's just pure agony, you know? That kind of pain, it takes maybe an hour to even begin to leave you. That peak of pain.
finally, the whole family is off the boat. But it's been 10 hours since they crashed and set off their emergency beacon. And John is close to death.
I knew my dad didn't have very long to live. I knew he wasn't gonna last like till the next day.
It's been 12 hours since the Silverwoods activated their emergency distress signal. But there's been no sign of rescue. Clinging to a tiny outcrop of rock, the family has all but given up hope. And inside the life raft, John is barely conscious, on the edge of death.
I'm surrounded by darkness. I don't have any connection with reality. I would pray, I'd ask God, in return for my own suffering, in return for my own passing, would you please save the life of my wife? Save the life of my kids.
Ben has done everything he can to save his dad. He can do no more. He's now resigned to his father's death.
As the sun came up, I could see this little star flying on the horizon. So I thought it could be a plane.
Help! Help!
I was ecstatic, like someone knew we were there.
And it gets right over us and it starts circling, just circles around and around and around.
But no sooner has the plane flown over them than it disappears over the horizon.
I could see the glimmer from the star kind of just diminished.
Our hearts sank because we realized, you know, we're not going to get rescued.
Two more hours pass, and there's no sign of the plane returning.
Time was definitely running out for my dad. We need like a medic or a doctor here now. I see this boat on the horizon.
The family's emergency beacon had led the plane to the reef. But unable to land, the crew alerted local fishermen on a nearby island. "15 hours after their boat was shipwrecked, their ordeal is finally over."
That was when I finally let go. I just grabbed Ben and I held him and I cried. I can't even tell you the feeling of elation.
I was just relieved, like I just dropped a huge bag or something.
We're actually going to get out of this situation. John's gonna make it.
The fishermen take the family to a nearby island, where they're evacuated by a medical rescue team and flown to Tahiti. After 8 hours of surgery, John's life was saved. But he lost his left leg below the knee.
How was it to lose a leg? I honestly can tell you, it bothered me not. When I regained consciousness, everything was new to me. Everything was spectacular to me.
I'm so proud of my children. I thought Ben was a 16-year-old immature boy, and he turned into a man in an instant.
Well, a lot of people use the word like hero and stuff like that about me. It doesn't really seem right. I just did all that stuff just because it needed to be done.
I see my wife and I see my kids through an entirely different